Hey, how's it going? So, I've heard the expression spiced tea before. Now, usually that means we're going to take a generally accepted base leaf, red tea, white tea, black tea, green tea, whatever, and add some sort of like fruit flavoring and then some spices or something. But it got me to thinking about spice tea. So I've got a whole crap ton of tea bags, and we're gonna fill these with a custom spice blend and see what it's like to make some spice tea. I'm gonna do a couple of pure one spice and a little bit of sugar, and that's it. But I'm also gonna do a couple of spice blends, including an Italian tea, taco tea, a hotshot tea, spicy tea basically, and a warming spice tea. So I'm just gonna start mixing these together and see what happens. So first up, I wanna make a nice cinnamon tea. Just straight up just cinnamon in it. This could be, it's going to be disgusting. All of it's gonna be disgusting. But I think I should put the sugar into the tea bag because I'm not gonna be putting sugar in all of these. Because, like, you don't need sugar in your taco tea. That would be ridiculous. Next on the agenda is some delightful Italian tea. And this is like Italian, not Italian style tea or anything like that. No. This is Italian spices. This is basically what goes in spaghetti sauce, except instead of tomatoes, it's water. See, I've been drinking a lot of tea recently, and I've come to realize that it's just leaves, you know? And similarly, I've also realized that spices are just leaves. So if you mix the leaves with the leaves, it makes leaf juice. Which is really frickin' obvious when you think about it. But no one ever tells you these things. That's why I'm here to share knowledge of what happens when you mix the leaves with different leaves. Although to be fair, some of these are not leaves. The onion powder and the garlic powder, that is not leaves. That's crushed different stuff. But you know what? We're gonna do it anyway. Now I think the thing that's gonna make this one the most disgusting, weirdly enough, is the salt. I think the salt is gonna make this a little bit grody. Just because it's salt. I'm drinking salt water. Next up is the taco tea. Basil and oregano look very similar. Or at least when they're in crushed leaf form. Like, their normal leaves look very, very different. I can tell my basil from my oregano in my herb garden, no problem. But if they've both been crushed up, then they're just little fragments of green leaves. Who the hell knows what's anything at that point? Nobody, that's who. Just a little bit of cayenne pepper. Not too much. You don't want to overload with the cayenne pepper, because then your tea will be too spicy. Next up, hotshot. Hotshot tea. This is gonna be disgusting. Maybe after this is over, I should take these sachets and just like dump them over some potatoes. Because all of these spices would go amazing with just some like hash browns or something. Tea number 5 is the warming spice tea. So that one, we're going with a completely different flavor profile. Oh, that's a lot of cinnamon. I don't know how careful I should be with proportions on this, because like, you don't make tacos with the same amount of every spice, right? You don't put the same amount of salt as you do cumin, as you do pepper, as you do other shite. So I wonder if I should have been a little more careful with apportioning how these are leveled. But you know what? This is a preliminary experiment, and we'll deal with the consequences later. Now, to close it off, I do want to make some tea that I will actually enjoy for the last one. So I'm just going to take just straight up mint, some sugar, and that's it. Just mint tea. That I actually know is good, so I should have, oh geez, I should have had the water boiling while I was doing this. 1 second, I'll be right back. Oh shit, oh, falling over. Now I'll actually plug in the kettle so that it starts. We don't need the laptop plugged in. We're making tea. Sort of. You gonna actually start? Yes, yes it is. Ooh, it's bubbly. Oh, it's a bubbler. He's a bubbly boy. We have 6 sachets of tea. We've got our straight up cinnamon with nothing else, a little bit of sugar. We've got the warm spices. I think that also has a little sugar in it. We've got the Italian seasoning. We've got our Mexican seasoning. We've got our Hotshot. That's probably going to be the most disgusting. I'm calling it now. And we have, last but not least, our mint refresher, so that my face doesn't want to just rebel completely after this. And I'm able to actually eat food later, because I would like to do that at some point tonight, if possible. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cups, and I have, ooh, look at that. I have like 8 cups. This one's a skull, and this one's the same one, and this one's a different skull. Have a problem, don't judge me. I am gonna try and finish these, by the way. Now, I'm not obviously making a hell of a lot of any of them. I'm making like a shot. But that might still be excessive. Are you gonna be this loud the whole time? Okay. That took far too long. Doesn't matter. Alright. We have our hot water. Let's start brewing some tea. So depending on the tea, and it does really heavily depend on the tea, but you want it to steep somewhere between like 1 and 5 minutes, or sometimes even more than that if it's a particularly ostentatious tea. Maybe I'll use the mint tea as a control of temperature. This is the last one I poured, so it's probably the warmest, and also it's not going to spoil any tastes for me, because I already know what mint tastes like. Tastes like mint. First off, we have this delightful skull shot of Italian tea. That straight up tastes like soup. And I think it's because of the salt. But this is just like a soup broth. It tastes really good, actually. Like, I can totally see just drinking this. Not obviously to the same effect you want tea. That's really salty. I put in too much salt. But like, that is just straight up soup. It's a lot to like take a big mouthful of, for sure. My body wants there to be like noodles and chicken and rice or beans or something like that. There's not. Oh, it's getting saltier the further down I go. Oh man. All right, come on, finish it. Side effect of the spice. It all dissolves, but it all sinks to the bottom. It gets stronger as you go down. The first sip is going to be the mildest. So this delightful skull is basically full of pepper. It's the Hotshot. That is so weird. On first sip, it just tastes like water. I didn't taste anything. And then it had the kick. So it's drinking spicy water, which is not something I thought existed. It doesn't taste like anything for about 3 or 4 seconds. And then it really hits. But again, as I get further down, it gets stronger. Oh no, come on, last bit. That's an experience. Next up is the last of the quote-unquote savory teas, I guess is what they're now going to be known as. This is the Mexican tea. It just tastes like a taco. But, you know, you're drinking it. You ever when you're like browning ground beef and you put taco seasoning in it and you stir it around and then it's cooking in the skillet and you like lean your head over and you take a deep breath and it's got that kind of moist spice smell. It's like that, but an entire cup of it. And as before, deeper down I get into the cup, stronger it gets. Ew! Okay, that wasn't necessarily bad, it was just strong. Gosh. Oh no. Okay. This is straight up cinnamon. And that's exactly what it tastes like, is pure cinnamon. Now, I know what you're thinking, but cinnamon tastes great. No, cinnamon flavored stuff tastes great. That has like sugar and apple and a whole bunch of other stuff that's mixed into it to make the cinnamon not as aggressive. This is like licking a cinnamon tree. Okay, so you know how a lot of tea, if you don't steep it for long enough, it just doesn't have a lot of body to it? Like it's just like thin leaf water. This is thin cinnamon water. If it had more substance, if maybe it had like, I don't know, some milk and a couple of other things giving it some body, it would taste good. I would really like it. But this tastes like you diluted a thimbleful of horchata in a gallon of water. This is the warm spice. You know what? That's not bad. It needs a little more sugar, but I would drink that on purpose. I would make this tea. It just tastes like a warm, like, have you ever had like a rooibos tea? Like a nice cinnamon rooibos? It tastes like that, except there's no rooibos in it. It's just cinnamon and a bunch of other weird crap that I threw in a cup. This is the mint tea. I knew it was going to be delicious, so I didn't feel like I needed a preamble to that. Oh, that's good. Wow, that went shockingly well. Okay, so final tally. Italian tea. It's soup broth, so it needs the other components of soup in order to taste good. Like, just drinking the broth, I think, can get old after a little while. I put a little too much salt in it. That is my fault. But other than that, it's just soup broth. Hotshot, spicy water. It tasted like regular ass water, with a little bit of a kick after about 4 seconds. But it was just spicy water. Mexican, that was the hardest to down. That didn't quite have the broth-like qualities that the other one did. It was a little more aggressive, but somehow also not full. Cinnamon tea needed a lot more body. It needed to have some other ingredients, maybe even something like milk, just to give it a little more fullness. It was just water that tasted wrong. A warming spice blend, shockingly good. I was not expecting that at all. Like, at all. And then the mint, which I drink all day, every day. Anyway. The mint tea is delicious. I don't have a problem. Maybe you have a problem. Go away. Stop judging me. Thank you for sticking with me until the end of this. I know it's probably not the most visually shocking, and I'll do stuff later to edit and make it more exciting, but like, this was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend, if you have a bunch of spices in your spice cupboard and you're not using them, or you're only using a little bit, just freaking mix them a little bit into a tea bag and heat up some water. See how it is. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of nonsense. I won't be doing exactly this nonsense, but I'll be doing different nonsense. I also have a Twitch channel where I play games every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There'll be a link to that in the description. Alright, see ya. Bye! Okay, but seriously, this mint tea is delicious.